The topic of evil is a very, very broad one. There's a broad concept of evil that includes such things as natural evils like hurricanes and toothaches, as well as moral evils like murder or lying or negligence. And we also know that there are many examples of everyday evil. These are more subtle and more difficult to define, but every bit as real. And in the case of garden variety evil, frequently arising out of trauma, we find that it is the hurt or the harmed people that most often hurt or harm others. Generally, if we want to make things very simple, we could conceptualize evil as something that simply opposes life. In fact, evil is live spelled backward. So evil could be considered the opposite of goodness, which promotes life, because evil kills spirit, hope, and humanity. So would it be possible for us to eradicate evil? And if we could, should or would we eradicate evil? What if religion were to stress humans' original goodness or the original blessing as our original state rather than original sin or having done evil? After all, the true and essential work of all religion is to help us recognize and recover the divine image in everything. If we were to believe that the good in human hearts, however proportionately small that might be, is more valuable than what evil may reside there, maybe we would focus more on reinforcing and feeding that aspect of ourselves rather than playing whack-a-mole with our sins or looking for retribution in our justice system. There's an old short Cherokee teaching that speaks to this idea. The old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life, and the boy says, "Grandfather, a fight is going on inside me. It's a terrible fight, and it's between two wolves. One is evil. He's angry, envious, sorrowful, regretful, greedy, arrogant, self-pitying, guilty, and lies. And the other one is good. He is joyful, peaceful, loving, hopeful, serene, humble, kind, empathetic, generous, and truthful. And the same fight is going on inside all of us, every person. And grandfather, which wolf wins?" And the grandfather says, in the most repeated ending of the story, simply, "The one you feed, my grandson." And this ending teaches that both wolves will always be there and the struggle is eternal. And, you know, it's easy to fall into the trap of trying hard to banish the negative side of ourselves, the shadow side, or to eradicate it, or to not even uh, acknowledge that it's there and enter into a prolonged state of denial. But the truth of it all is that none of us is living in pure bliss. So then the question again is, how do you feed the second wolf? Maybe we can take those fears, those worries, and those doubts and move forward anyway. So there's a second ending that in the Cherokee world is often told. Uh, and that is that the two wolves are fighting within you. Which one will win? And the old Cherokee simply replies to his grandson, "If you feed them right, they will both win." And then the story goes on. And the old Cherokee says, "You see, grandson, if I only choose to feed the white wolf, The black one will be hiding around every corner, waiting for me to become distracted or weak and jump to get the attention he craves. He'll always be angry and will always fight the white wolf. But if I acknowledge him, he's happy, and the white wolf is happy, and we all win. For the black wolf has many qualities like fearlessness, strong will, great strategic thinking, and tenacity that sometimes we need. And they're the very things that the white wolf often lacks. But the white wolf has compassion, caring, and strength, and the ability to recognize what's in everyone's best interest. So the white and the black wolf need each other. To feed only one would starve the other, and they'd become uncontrollable. But if you feed them both, there's no more internal struggle. There's no more battle inside. All parts of your heart belong, the white as well as the black wolf. So the old Cherokee ends this fable by saying, peace, my grandson, is the Cherokee mission in life. A man or a woman who has peace inside has everything. A man or a woman who's pulled apart by the war inside him or her has nothing. So, how do you choose to interact with the opposing forces within you? Whatever your answer, that will determine your life. If you starve one or the other, that's one ending, but perhaps it's possible to guide them both. So, this is a brief meditation on those everyday things that we deny in ourselves, the quote unquote things that shouldn't be. Um, we're not going to worry about eradicating them. We're simply going to acknowledge them. And so this will be a very, very short exercise for which you may want to close your eyes, although that's not necessary if you're not inclined to do that. You could also simply soften your gaze and find a comfortable posture, either sitting in a chair or lying down. Taking a few deep breaths to center ourselves. Just one or two more in your own time. Now thinking of a quality in yourself that you sometimes deny. Maybe it's habitual procrastination or an uncontrolled love of chocolate or something mildly negative in your eyes. And here we're not looking for something traumatic from your shadow side, just something small, something that in your eyes makes you less than perfect. Some quality of your being that you maybe prefer not to admit or feel a sense of shame around. Just bringing that to mind now. And now thinking of a feature of that quality that might be useful to you. If you anger quickly, is it because you're perceptive in noticing when your boundaries have been crossed? So it might be a protective force, or is it in response to an injustice you might see? How might that anger be useful in a certain circumstance? Or envious. If you find yourself envious, just touching into something that makes you feel envious and noticing whether that might be serving you, maybe propels you into positive action or causes you to retreat into yourself for some time to yourself. What might that shadow side be serving? And if there's any resistance to finding a small something, just bringing a quality of compassion to the resistance. It's all right. No one's perfect. Everyone's human and has a white wolf and a black wolf. Now petting the black wolf. It's okay. And now noticing any change in your felt sense of this shadow characteristic of yours. What is it like to say yes to it? That it too belongs. You might feel a softening or a different feeling of looseness. What does it feel like to simply acknowledge this? Maybe a relaxation of your body, maybe some other feeling. Whatever comes belongs. And now bringing compassion to yourself, maybe even placing a hand over your heart or simply saying to yourself quietly, "It's all right. I'm here." Maybe a phrase like, "You are enough," or "This is understandable," or "It matters to me that I care." What is it that this feeling is asking from us? And then readily give it, whether it's compassion or words of concern or love. Just petting any black wolf that you might perceive. And staying here for another half minute or so, offering feelings and thoughts of compassion as we acknowledge this aspect of ourselves and that it belongs as much as any other quality that we might be proud of. Simply acknowledging, not needing to praise it, not needing to do anything other than showing compassion. And just lifting that denial or lack of awareness. And as a result, allowing the calming of that black wolf in your heart. And if your eyes have been closed, the invitation is to gently open them now. Take a deep breath or two. And thank you for your practice.